FX presents the Indoob podcast with your host, T. Sterling Watson.
Good evening, Indoobians. I'm T. Sterling Watson, and what you're about to hear is a special presentation. It's a joint effort between the Indoob podcast and the Megasheen podcast, starring the hosts Victor and Nick. My voice sounds a little off a little bit, only because I had been recovering from let's just say a cold or sore throat, so my voice wasn't quite there. But we had been trying to get together to do like a movie review for like various films, and this time it finally happened, but for the movie Nope. So we got together, we recorded, and basically we're just taking the audio feed from Megasheen and then just putting it onto ours, and here we are. And yeah, this is actually the first time I'm recording something Indoob related, but at my new job at Espen. And I'm not using the studio's equipment. I'm just in a control room where I think it's the quietest it's ever been for me to record anything. And it's just, I don't know, shocking. So yeah, do enjoy this episode. I also want to give a lovely shout out and happy anniversary to my lovely wife. This is our first year of marriage. That we've been married since August 2nd, 2021, and I know this episode is coming out August 2022. So yeah, so do look out. There will be new episodes of Love Blurreds soon. I mean, I've got one that's still in the can. I just haven't put it together and then put it out. Plus, I'm sure we're going to be recording soon anyway, as we often do. She's the one usually like, hey, let's record something. I'm like, okay, cool. And then we record it, and then I just kind of sit on it because there's been a bunch of other things happening, such as like the new job and then just things. So much life. But that's part of why we record, to just kind of document what's been happening with us. So be sure to check out whatever new episodes come out with that. And in a couple weeks, or, you know, our regular schedule for the Indoob podcast, you'll get a new episodes of Indoob. So just stay seated, stay whatever you're doing. Just stay cool. Keep it sterling. That's what I used to say back in high school, just to kind of promote the sterlingness of myself and kind of to reclaim the whole keep it real, but also kind of rebrand it. Like, keep it sterling, because, I mean, real. A synonym would be genuine, and a synonym for genuine is sterling, because realness. Yeah, you get it. Yeah, so also check out the Patreon for more additional things, such as other episodes of the Indoob podcast that you may not have heard, and whatever else is out there. So definitely check all those things out. But now, without any further ado, now that I got all that housekeeping and clearing and such out of the way, here we go to the review of Nope. And by the way, if you have not seen Nope and intend to, then I would suggest you not listen to this and come back after. But then if you have, then by all means, let's get into it.
The Indoob podcast.
All right, everybody, welcome back for a special edition-ish type of episode where we're going to review Nope. This is Megasheen, your podcast for all things gay and geeky from a black geek gay. Here I go again. A black gay geek perspective. I am Victor.
And I'm Nick, and we have some special guests here. So we have friends joining us on this episode. Who we have joining us, Victor?
Oh, we have first we have Courtney. Courtney, I can't even talk today. You have how much that I am alive and awake today, but we have Courtney here on our show. Courtney, can you say hi to everybody today?
Hello, everybody. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you so much for coming.
And then we have Sterling.
Good evening.
As well.
And according to Courtney, I'm using my sexy voice today. So, yes.
He is. He's got on his sexy voice.
Right. It's quiet storm. Boy,
Well, I'm a radio person 2 times over now. So, yeah.
Hey.
All right. So pretty much these are people who you probably heard their voices before. They have been not only on the show, but they also are out there in the whole podcast world and geeky things, talking about all the fun stuff. So you should know these people and all this good stuff. But we will all have their information online, so you can always continue to follow them and know what they are doing as well. So you'll see that in the credits as we post the show. But yes, today we're going to talk about Nope, Jordan Peele's third film. And there's been a lot of things about it. So let's get into this conversation. Let's see, Sterling, you want to kind of give us how you felt about the movie when you were watching it?
Sure. First of all, it should be known that I'm not a horror movie aficionado like the two of you are, because I've listened to many of episodes where you guys analyze and, kind of figure out, why is this movie scary? So and I'll speak for Courtney too. She's also with me, where we're just not, we need a little push to get there. Maybe someone to hold our hands. And I went with a friend of mine because we went to go see Us together, and like, well, that's going to be our thing now. We're just going to go see every Jordan Peele movie. So we saw this. She was like, what did you bring me to? I, on the other hand, was like, you know what? I'm really enjoyed by all of what I just saw. Like, this is a different take on alien films and being, I don't even want to say abducted, because if you get abducted, you're pretty much eaten. But I mean, it was just, I just felt like it was a lot of fun once kind of figured out more of what was happening. And after I, got home, did like some more research on it. And it definitely is a spectacle kind of film. So I really did enjoy I'm glad that I went to the theater to see it, to enjoy the spectacle of it all. So I had none but good things mostly to say.
All right. And Courtney?
I have to agree. Yeah. Like Sterling said, he didn't say this, but I'm saying it. I'm a certified weenie. Like, I think I watched the trailer for this and I was like, oh, this is a scary movie. I don't know. And honestly, this is my first Jordan Peele movie. I haven't seen the other two because I'm a weenie. I know all about them. I know the story and I support it. I love it, but I have not seen them because I can't. Maybe now I will, because I feel like, got the hard part out the way. I actually went to the theater, sat through it, had to watch the scary movie trailers before Nope. And I made it through this movie. But I really enjoyed the movie. It was pretty confusing throughout. And then, even at the end, I was like, I have so many questions. I had to have missed something. And of course I did some research, and of course I missed a few things here and there. But overall, I really, really liked it. And I appreciated it more after kind of filling in those blanks on what I missed and what the message was. I was like, I think this is what the overall message is, and found out that I was pretty much on the ball with it. So I really enjoyed it. And I didn't have bad dreams that night, so it's even better.
All right, Nick.
Enjoyed it. I was entertained. I'll say that. I didn't think out of the three, I think I don't want to say it's the weakest one, but it's the third one for a reason. I don't know, maybe. And maybe that we're trying to take away a greater meaning from the movie than what he wanted to portray. I think everybody was trying to find this deeper meaning. There was so many deeper meanings in Get Out. There were so many deeper meanings in Us. Maybe he just wanted to do a UFO movie. I don't know, but I enjoyed myself for the most part. I just didn't know if the things that we were reading into was meant to be read into, if that makes any sense.
No, I see what you're saying. And I think what has happened is we are now, I don't want to say trained, but kind of in this situation when it's a Jordan Peele movie, we got to look for all the clues.
Almost conditioned.
Yeah, I think in how some people were every time they see a Christopher Nolan movie, I was looking for something to see what the connections or the match was or something like that. For myself, I've seen this movie twice. And when I first saw it, I had to remind myself, don't try to look for all the clues. Just go into it. Just go into it and just lie in it, basically. And I really enjoyed it. I like the chapter style of it, of kind of going through, because it was kind of told more through, if the chapters were kind of told more through the animals, which was very interesting, of like different moments. So from Lucky to, Jean Jacket, which I do love that name. And also from Gordy, like it was nice to kind of see it from those different points. I think even the fake horse got a name, like kind of from a moment of that. Because when you stop and thought about it, it was like through those animals or through those particular reasons where we kind of, those particular pieces, we saw kind of how the story was moving through, from Lucky to Gordy to the fake horse to Jean Jacket. I like the way we were going in that pace, and I really enjoy the atmosphere because this is out here. It's out here in this area. It's so funny because they went to Fry's. Fry's is literally a mile from me. So it's so funny to be like, damn, when I'm going to Target, because we have like 7,000 Targets in this area. When I go to the other Target that I like, I have to pass, Fry's. So it's like weird because I'm like, Fry's is kind of that place that is kooky when you go in it because it makes no sense. But it's just neat to be like, that's right down the street. So it's really fun to be, you can kind of throw yourself in it, if that makes sense. Like, oh, this is in the area. I know where I can kind of drive and see this stuff. So it's kind of neat in that sense. But I like the way that the story was going and how, to me, this was like, if you took Jaws 2 and if you took Signs and put them together, you would get this movie. Jaws 2 was like, if you saw Jaws, it was like that nice slow burn of there's a shark, it's killing people, they're going to get it. Jaws 2 was like, okay, the shark has returned, but it's going after people, like it's going after them aggressively, and that's
personal. Yeah,
it was personal, and so
sounds like Orca.
Listen.
And I actually watched last night. I was watching Jaws 2 because I kept saying that. I was like, let me remind myself of Jaws 2. And I was like, okay, I'm right. I was right. But I just like the way that it kept us guessing about what the thing was, but also really playing up to what the animal is, in a sense of like how animals are like, they can look like their environment. They can look like something.
As in a predator?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Or also learning that bright colors, when you see bright colors from those type of animals, that means your ass is in danger. Like, it's like the way it was doing that. And it was a lot to where I was like, you have to think back to basics. Like, okay, this is stuff that, if you see certain animals do a certain thing, you need to get out of the way, you need to run. So I really like the fact that it was simple in that piece. When you stop thinking really hard about it, it was like, okay. And also the way OJ explained a lot of this stuff was really helpful in that, in understanding it. Well, let's get into the characters now, since I threw out OJ's name. What about the characters? How did y'all feel about OJ and Emerald and Angel? How did y'all feel about the characters in the movie?
Oh, before we jump into that, what was the fake horse's name?
I remember the fake horse's name.
I don't know. Did it have a name?
I don't remember having a name.
It didn't have a name, but I think when it went to like the segment, it was like a name there, and then it went to the horse. Because that's what we knew. That's when we knew that it was taking horses.
Oh,
that particular one didn't make, it upset his stomach basically.
yeah. Well, remember, because I remember some of the title for the chapter names. There was Lucky, Gordy,
Ghost,
and Jean Jacket. But I don't know if I ever remember seeing a name for it. But I remember, I feel like maybe I don't remember that.
Because now you say Ghost. Ghost was the first.
Yeah, Ghost was the first one.
So maybe I got that mixed up on that one.
It's fine. But since we're since we're speaking of characters, I will say once the movie first started, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know Keith David was in this movie. And then next thing you know, he's dead. So I was surprised to see him. I love seeing Keith David. Like, he's just like one of those, just like, oh, he's in this movie. It just brings it up just another notch just because of the type of actor he is. And he's not in the movie long enough to really have that much of a presence, but you do feel it through OJ and Emerald, and the fact that it seems like he paid more attention to OJ, or at least he didn't train the horse that, Emerald wanted. So I kind of got maybe a little bit of estrangement there, but just OJ trying to fill those shoes and do, I guess, what his father did. And it seems like his father kind of did both of those things, that with OJ and Emerald together, their father could do both of those things, where he could be the showman, also show you how to do what you're supposed to do, how to train these animals. Mm-hmm. So with him gone, you definitely saw that absence, and how they're just trying to pull together, and really they're not doing it very well, which is why they're selling the horses. So
I really liked all of the characters except for, and y'all know the last guy, Antler, the grizzled, animal tamer turned photographer, or maybe he was just no. He captured wildlife. I hate to say in the act, but he captured wildlife just in their natural habitat. I appreciated and understood and connected with, I guess, and was entertained by everybody but him. Because I felt like that character was literally just he was a caricature that just, to me, it was just very out of place. Because he had so little screen time, and I felt like his story was so maybe non-existent. Like, what did he add to the movie that the other characters didn't? Maybe, and as I say that, I feel like the overall theme of the movie was the spectacle, and how we go to great lengths and maybe even horrifying lengths to get the perfect shot and to see the thing and to whip out our phones rather than stop the tragedy from happening, or profiting off of something tragic, rather than the preservation of our own lives or the lives of other people, or just the terrible things that spectacle, being part of the spectacle, can bring us to. And maybe because of how he went out, he played into that. But I also feel like that's kind of a stretch. I didn't understand the point of him being there. What's his point other than I felt provided a camera?
I felt he was a homage to Jaws, because as soon as he started speaking. Well, I'm not sure. Is that one? I don't want to put you on the spot, because I know you're a weenie, but it's one of
Jaws. No,
that's
I haven't
okay.
Seen Jaws.
Okay, so that explains it right there. Because I think if you saw it, you would have just felt Quint. Quint is the character played by Robert Shaw, I think.
Yeah. Well,
he just had that whole gravelly thing where he's just trying to tell a story and creeping everybody out.
What was the one that got his arm bit off, right? Towards the end of Jaws, the first one?
I don't know if he got it. I just know he didn't make it.
Yeah, he ate half of them. He was well,
down the middle.
Yeah. I see what you're saying, Sterling, because he does remind me of that character, because he was all gung-ho about, let's go out there and get him. We're going to
get the shot. Yeah.
And Antler to me was I understood what he was doing, because he was known for finding the impossible shot. He's always looking for the impossible shot. As he was saying to Emerald, if you spend your life looking for it, you're never going to get that. And I think he was talking about himself. But when that moment came, he was going to take it. He's one of those people that was because it has consumed so much of his life. That was the moment where he's I'm going to get this moment. If it costs me everything, I'm going to get it.
But if he got the moment, why wouldn't he share? He took his tapes with him.
Yeah.
So if you are so intent on making this moment,
why not share it?
Why not share it? And then, and for posterity, rather than take it and be selfish as you white folks are, and do it for yourself.
He even said it. Well, he said that, they don't deserve it.
You don't deserve the miracle or something.
Yeah. Girl, what are we doing here?
Right. Why are you here?
I didn't understand that either, why he took it with him.
But I also feel now why he took it with him, I don't know. That because I didn't like this character overall. I mean, on screen, fine. But overall, I'm why are you here? But again, the message was about the spectacle and the links that we go through and go to just for the seeing the thing and experiencing the thing. And even though it was kind of crazy to us that he were to allow the thing to take him and to record the thing taking him, and then not even giving us the pleasure of seeing the footage after it because it took it with him, I think he plays into the whole horror of the spectacle.
It's true.
Very true.
And that's when you discuss on the spectacle, I mean, we have to talk about Gordy. Gordy was the chimp, right?
Yeah.
How I don't even know how to get into this without it. Like Stephen Young's character was the little boy, and something, I don't know, scared the hell out of the chimp, and he just went flight or fight, and like screwed up Miss Girl, banging on her head. I think he killed the dad, and that goes into also like the predator aspect of it. If I don't look at it straight directly, then it doesn't see me as a threat, versus I'll concentrate on something else. For instance, the shoe that was always pointed up. What do you all think of like the significance of the chimp and all of that aspect?
What I got was I got that all of that was a theme of you cannot tame what's not meant to be tamed in some sense, because that was Gordy explosion was about trying to be tamed and they could not tame this animal. Then you think about Ghost and how Ghost could not be, even though Ghost was tamed, but Ghost knew when to leave when stuff was happening, and knew what was going on, as well as Lucky too. So it was like this issue of taming, but also trying to tame this alien was also something that when I think about what Jupe was trying to do, it antagonized it to a point where it set up shop. This is like, well, I'm not leaving here. This is my trough. You got me. You feed me horses every other week. You're doing all this, and because Jupe was trying to train it, it kind of rebelled. It was like, well, I'm gonna take not just a horse, I'm taking all of y'all, even the wheelchair. I'm taking all of y'all. And went for it. So I looked at that. To me, it just came off more as you cannot tame this. You cannot tame us. And that's what I like about how Jordan Peele, if you notice, he always uses animals in the way he tells the stories. Get Out was a deer. Us was the rabbits. And then it was kind of a little bit of this. So I was like, okay, I'm seeing where you're going with this taming thing. You cannot tame. And even down to Emerald, a part of me kind of look at Emerald, like certainly you were saying this, like how the father trusts LJ more is because in a lot of ways he knew. That's why he didn't give Jean Jacket to Emerald, because he knew that Emerald was kind of the wild horse. I'm not going to keep Emerald. Is not going to. I can't contain Emerald. OJ is right next to me. I have trained OJ. OJ is going to take over the family business, but I know that Emerald will not. Emerald's going to be out in the street doing what Emerald wants to do and have a good old time, which is why as I looked at it the second time, I was like, that's why you didn't get Jean Jacket, because he knew he could not tame you, or he could not. I don't want to say like that, but that's how I took it. It's like he could not tame you, but so he's not going to give you that responsibility that you probably not handle that. So that's how I kind of looked at the animals in the sense of like that was the theme for me, like the taming thing. You cannot do that. You cannot contain something that is meant to be wild and free. Especially like a horse. There's always, but with any pets, be it even something as simple as a dog or a cat, there's always that little, if something pops off, then they're going to get into that animalistic
revert to their nature.
Exactly. So especially with horses, like as gentle as they are, something will catch their sight wrong, and they doing that little Kim gif where they're doing like that.
and they showed that too when they were doing the commercial, and and I thought, oh no, we got our first murder, but no, it wasn't. It was just some bag of flour or whatever it was. But just showing the fact that it is still an animal, and all of these creatures, and like Victor was saying, they can't necessarily be tamed, or rather not even just tamed, but they will resort back to their animalistic nature. And sometimes it's just unpredictable what they'll do. And I don't know, I found that very interesting once I kind of processed that, and then later read it and somewhere else. I'm like, okay, I get that. That's definitely what's happening. And I mean, I'm now enlightened to even think about Emerald being someone who can't quite be tamed either. But yeah, I had found all of that to be interesting and the one that creeped me out the most, or the one that had me most on edge, was Gordy, because it felt like such a familiar story that like did this happen in a show somewhere? But I do know there's been incidents in real life of chimps kind of just being animalistic or something setting them off.
You know, there was that a few weeks ago, there was some kind of video from like a Russian circus that they were doing some kind of act with the grizzly bear, and he just looked at somebody like a cheeseburger and just went after him. And, you know, a bear pinning you down, you might not make it. So
you're probably not going to make it.
You probably going to get effed all the way up. So the thing that M couldn't get tamed speaks to Black people and how fathers look at their daughters versus how they look at their sons too. Like, I can control my son because I want him to be in my image, versus a daughter, which oftentimes takes the image of a mother. But that whole dynamic with Black people and how fathers view their daughters is interesting, and I don't know if it has any significance throughout the film. I don't know. What do you all think?
Well, it's very clear that M didn't have that close of a relationship with her dad. I don't know that for a while I got the impression that she wasn't really all that sad that he had died. I mean, maybe sad that, oh man, my dad died, but like not because they had just this really close relationship. And she was even talking about how, because of their money troubles, why don't you just sell the farms or the ranch, sell it? You know, we could get money off of, we could go somewhere else, you know, because she didn't really have that tie or that obligation maybe that OJ did. And I think that really does stem from her relationship or lack thereof with her father, because even there was at least one, well, I remember two flashbacks. One of them was of OJ. He was doing something with a saddle, or he was in the stables, and his dad was like over there, and they were talking. M's flashback was of him or her looking down. OJ is helping or learning how to train the horses, or helping his dad train the horses, but she's like up high away from them, looking down on them, but not part of it. And her from her perception, or perspective, she connected with OJ, because that's when they did that, you know, pointing to the eyes and back at each other type of connection. But even that flashback, she was not connected with her dad. So I feel like she just didn't really have that connection, whether that was her perception or not. She didn't have it. I never got the impression that the dad favored OJ over her. I mean, I feel like because he was older and maybe he showed more interest, maybe that could have been the case. But I definitely agree that in the Black culture, oftentimes boys and men are preferred to like take over the family business and to carry on the name and carry on the legacy, whereas daughters not so much. So I get where you're coming from with that one, with that theory.
Yeah, it was. I'm glad you mentioned that, because that was something that I did notice, that M did not have that emotional connection. Like, she was like to the man, in the sense of like not really talking about or sharing the good memories with her father more than what we saw from OJ. Because what we will see from OJ's perspective was that the life lessons that he learned. We never saw that from her end. And so therefore I understood, like, okay, so at the same time, it was the tutelage from his father that helped OJ survive. Like, it was like the things that was needed to survive, to keep the business going. I love the scene where, when she did ask him, like, why can't we just get rid of it, sell all this stuff? He was like, no, what his father built is history, is Black history. And he was like, I don't want to let that go. And I kind of felt that. I was like, and I think sometimes when we think about it, like, especially when you do about Black families, when it's something like, we should move out of this house or whatever, like this, it's like, no, this was where a family was built. This was something like that. It's always that person who will remember, like, this was something that was built for us, by us, for us. So let's keep that. And I felt that. And I feel like Daniel, when he did that line, that line did so much about, like, why are we staying here? We got something chasing us, eating us. He's like, no, I got mouths to feed. And it's funny how he said that part to me. He's like, I got mouths to feed. I got this to do. And that's something that you've heard in Black families. I got mouths to feed. This is why I'm working 2 or 3 jobs. This is why I'm doing all this. I got mouths to feed. People dependent. And
I think that. Go ahead. Well, when he said he got mouths to feed, that I don't know why this UFO had been around for like forever, right? So in some instance, they knew that it was there. So would that in turn be one of the mouths to be fed?
Oh, that's interesting.
And I
just want to back up for a second. Like they only were aware of it like when they just started trying to surveil it. So and we only knew like its first instance like 6 months ago, like when it killed OJ's father.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But how long it had actually been there?
Exactly.
That's a good question. Humor me for a minute because I had a theory that popped up when I walked out of the theater. There's a part of me that think Jupe was a part of something almost from the beginning. Like when that incident happened when he was a kid, I feel like he was later told that this was a part of something. Because when I first saw the movie and saw how that shoe was sitting straight up, I feel like that shoe was a trigger for something. Like it was some experiment going on because, again, going back to Us, that was an experiment that just went wrong. And I feel like this is me going all over the place. There is going to be this connection with all of these experiments. Think about it. Get Out was an experiment. Us was an experiment. I felt like there was something with that shoe that probably triggered something to happen. Like it was set up for a reason. Or once something went down, that shoe just stayed up a certain way. And then later on, Jupe was a survivor, but maybe Jupe knew something later about like, well, this was done for a certain reason because he had that same energy about the alien. Because he knew about the alien.
He knew about it, yeah.
To a point that he was like, so this is what I'm going to do. Because it hit me the second time that the first time that OJ experienced the alien, you can hear Jupe doing that speech. And I was like, okay.
Like in the distance, right?
Yeah, like at first I didn't catch it, but then the second I was like, he's been aware of this for a while. He's the one doing this. But the fact that he knew about it and was very kind of nonchalant about it, that's what made me feel like you may be a part of something once.
On it.
From a kid, you were like told you were part of an experiment. This is why we did what we did. This is why you still have the shoe and you have all that stuff. Because I was thinking, how did you get that? Because that's that type of stuff that you get at a young age.
At a crime scene.
At a crime scene, right. Like,
and it's set up a certain way. So a part of me was thinking, that was me and my conspiracy theory. Like, you are a part of this in a bigger way we just don't know. But the way you were antagonized, the way you had that set up for the horses to be in, the way you had that done, it made me think like, first of all, how did you even get, because they was like saying he just bought that place like a few months ago or whatever, changed it up. I'm like, what if they gave you the money to do that? What if they set you up to do that in this unknown location that you cannot find? Because it really hit me when the motorcyclist came out there. Because I was like,
randomly,
like you came out there for a reason. This is something going on bigger than what maybe we're seeing.
So
really go ahead, Courtney.
I'm bursting because you're like touching on a bunch of stuff because earlier you said that Jupe was you got the impression that Jupe was trying to tame the alien. And I was like, the whole time, I mean, a lot of my other questions were answered that I had about the movie, but I couldn't bridge the gap between, other than the message of like taming a wild animal, right? Like I could not bridge the gap between Jupe. Yeah, he was involved in that horrific chimp accident and he survived it. And so he's clearly traumatized about it. But why is he at this ranch or at this like rundown theme park or whatever? Why is he the one feeding the alien? How did he find out about that? Why? What? So you're like touching on, and it's like doing stuff to my brain. It's sparking that because it's like he knew what was going on. I do have questions as to why this is the first time he's being like devoured by the alien. I know he looked at it, but surely by now he would have figured it out that you don't look at it and it can't devour you. But
well, not necessarily, because he's not like a horse not a horse trainer, but he doesn't respect the animal for what it is. Yeah. So he's not going to know that.
So maybe by like dumb luck, he hasn't gotten devoured.
He should have known, but they're also unpredictable. They're unpredictable. Like this thing is unpredictable. Nobody even knew really what it was, let alone what it was doing. I'm sure he knew it was taking the horses, but I don't think he even knew exactly what he need. Yeah, I think he maybe only assumed it was only going to take horses because that's all it took before. So once it decided, like, you know what, I'm done with the horses. I'm just going to take all you people because all of you are looking at me and I'm just getting annoyed. So, you know, or I'm hungry. I don't know. So that's what I'm thinking, where it's like you can't tame something that like this because you don't know that much about it. You don't know anything about it. And you think you have an idea of it until it just freaks out on you. And I'm not sure if they use the example of Sigmund Freud, the
Roy and the circus.
Yeah, and actually they did.
And Roy?
They did allude to the fact.
Well, yeah, because they also had a wild animal, and then one day it just kind of attacked,
screwed them up, both of them, more than once.
Oh, I didn't know it happened multiple times. I just knew about the one time. I remember being on the news and like, oh, well.
There's one of their white tigers is what the example that they gave in the movie, I believe.
Yeah. So here is the same thing, and I believe that's again what Peele is playing on. Just I know we keep going back to the term spectacle, but the fact that like it's something bad, but we're all drawn to it, and we want to keep seeing it and more of it. And here we are actually watching this movie, waiting to see, and we're seeing the impossible shot that what's his name tried to get, because we're watching him get devoured. And I mean, I kind of realized that while I was sitting there, I was like, oh, we're seeing the thing that we all kind of wanted to see what actually happens when they get inside them, and this thing, and then spits out all the keys and gross stuff. But that was messed up too. The whole showering with the blood and stuff all over the house.
What do y'all think about that? I have a thought or a theory. What do y'all think about it peeing or throwing up the blood on the house?
I thought it was excrements.
Yeah, it was that. Now that with the conversation that we're having now, I almost feel like maybe he's even claiming it. Like, this is mine now. Like a dog pee on something.
Right.
Yeah, but like.
So,
but
I mean,
why would you? I'm trying to think through this before I say it, but my mind is going too fast to form sentences. But I guess that could be another way to insert itself. But
that too.
You could have already done that a long time ago if you were hiding up in the clouds. So why all of a sudden now?
Well, I think at this point, though, they had started to like actively track it and actively try to figure it out and actively make it known that, yes, I know you're up there. Yes, you're in that cloud that don't move. Yes, I'm going to try. I think that was shortly after, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that was shortly after they put the decoy horse out and then it devoured it and then it like spit it back out and it was like real pissed off. It's like, oh, you trying to feed me, so it's going to make my stomach hurt.
Right. Now I gotta go to the store and get them both this mouth.
Exactly. But I feel like the blood scene happened as a show of you can't do this to me. I'm bigger than you. I will scare out of you. And this is also
show of dominance.
This is also mine now. Yeah, it's a show of dominance, show of power.
Yeah. Well, that alludes to the fact that it has intelligence.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And OJ was explaining it when OJ was kind of breaking it down. It's like it's territorial. It's like this is where it's been consistent. It's like a stray cat. If you constantly leave food out for that stray cat, it's going to know to come over to this particular spot. It will hang in that spot because they know there's going to be some type of food there. And like sometimes with cats, because I used to have two, Lord, if they eat too much, they're going to throw it all back up. So that's why I was thinking that's what was happening. They ate too much. Because they ate as much as it had previously. And so that's why I feel like it just threw it all up because it ate too much. It got too like excited. Like, you know how we get, we eating this lava cake at Chili's and then realize like we ate.
That sounds good.
Yeah, it's like 1,400 calories, but we ate it all, and then you feel so bad.
I loved it.
That's what it was. That's why I think the alien was feeling. I ate all these people, even the slushies, but I got sick and then just threw up all over that house. And that's like, in some ways, that's what animals do. They will kind of throw up or whatever in their territorial space,
right.
Or pee, or put their, what cats do, not really pee, but mark their space. And maybe that's what it was doing, was marking its space. Like, this is my area. This is where I know I'm going to get food at. Because if you notice, he didn't go nowhere else. I keep calling it he, but it didn't go nowhere else.
It was a he.
That's strong masculine energy for some reason.
Yeah.
I'll call alien Lloyd. Lloyd knew to stay right there because it was like, the food gonna come to me. Over there in the corner, somebody's feeding me horses every other day. But now I'm getting, I can get other things over here too. So it's like that whole space and place was like Lloyd's area, and he didn't go nowhere else. Why would you go somewhere else if you're getting free food all the time?
Lloyd did look like a fitted bed sheet.
He's so pretty when he stretches out, though.
I mean, I figured that's where we're going next to kind of talk about his, his final form, if you will.
It's so cute.
It's like
cute.
I was like, yeah. I would be the one. I'd be like, oh my God, it's so beautiful. It's a miracle.
Like that girl of Independence Day before she got blown up at what was that, Capitol Records?
It's me. It's me.
And as you're in awe, that's when you're the next one to get eaten.
Records, because that's again like when we drive down the street on the highway to turn down Vine. There's Capitol Records. It makes me think about that all the time. Like that's really
always getting blown up.
Blown the F up. We will be gone if I was right over there. But yeah, let's talk about the alien, because I had another weird conspiracy theory, because when it was in its final form, how they talk about what angels are supposed to look like?
Angels, yes.
And angels are not as pretty as what we think it's supposed to be.
They're frightening, yes.
And that's
the biblical angels, yeah.
And it was hitting me because OJ said, "What's a bad miracle?" And that's why I was thinking that's how it will be. That's how it'll be perceived. It's like you see it in its final form. You're like, "Oh my God, it's so pretty," and everything else. And that's when it gets you, because it's giving you all those pretty colors and that pretty flash. And that's how it's like, I got you now. That's how I got you. I got you drawn in. And that, to me, that's why I was thinking that is a bad miracle, because it looks so pretty
and exotic. Well, and if you think about it, most prey, like in nature, the prey, or rather the predator, is the one with the more colorful feathers and the more intricate designs. The hunters are more really, subtle, and they blend in to their surroundings, whereas the predator, what am I trying to say? The predators tend to have more colorful things, and that's exactly what I thought of when I saw Jean Jacket in the final form. It's like, yes, it's showing you this final form so that you are drawn in and that you have to look at it, because that is how it hunts. And once you're looking at it, that's when it chomps you, it gets you. And I'm like, that's brilliant. But yeah, I absolutely thought of angels, like biblical angels, when I saw it, because it kind of looked like a squid or whatever, but it was flowing, and it was just very exotic and not what I expected. And so, of course, I'm watching the whole thing, and I'm like, yeah, this is why I would die, because I would just be sitting there either stuck in fear or like, frozen, or I would be out of here, y'all. I just don't trust me. So
it worked on one of my fears, because I kind of felt definitely it looked like a sea creature in space, or rather in the air. And I did go verify that later, that's actually what it was inspired by, a number of different sea creatures, but not the one that I was thinking of, which I later pulled up a picture to show Ashley. I showed the friend I was with. I'm like, showed all these people, like, this is what it reminded me of. And that was a Portuguese man of war, which is, for me, the most terrifying thing. Well, I know there's many terrifying things in the sea, but if you go ahead and, I don't know if you're able to pull up a device right now, just to go Google it, just so you have a reference, because it's terrifying. And it had that, I'll describe it best I can, where it's got like a kind of like gaseous kind of like bubble like on top, and it's got tentacles hanging that go in the water that, will electrify anything it touches. And it's actually a couple organisms as one. And it's deadly. Even if it gets beached on the sea, or on the beach, on the sand, it's still deadly to even interact with. So, and it just because of all the intricacies, that's what terrified me about seeing Jean Jacket unfurled and then shooting that green I don't know, tongue, mouth, whatever that thing is. And I'm like, oh, I don't want any parts of this. Like, this is terrifying. Like, I would not be like Courtney and staring. I would be instead, trying to get on this motorbike, trying to get it to go as fast as it can, or hiding somewhere, because I know if I'm hiding, it might not see me. So, or follow me anymore. I don't know. That was terrifying, as majestical as it looked. I'm like, nope. Like,
nope.
Just the title of the movie. Nope.
It reminded me of one of those velociraptors off Jurassic Park,
Yes,
not the velociraptor, but the one that has that whole
the hood
thickening, and then he sprays that poisonous goo.
in your eyes.
You're right, because when I'm looking it up, it talks about it was like it's often mistaken as a jellyfish, but what this actually is a siphonomore, which is not just one animal, but many highly specialized animals working together.
Nightmare fuel. Yep.
And that's scary the way they put it together. Like it's highly super intelligent ones coming together like a legion, which is
that's the phalanx.
Yeah, you could do that. You could play with the angels too, about legions and all that type of stuff, angels and demons. But it was like that's scary, because I'm looking at all more of these pictures, and you can see where it's a combination of different things. Oh crap!
Nightmare fuel.
I can't wait to go down that. I can't wait to go down that rabbit hole tonight.
Yeah, you might have spoke too soon about not having any bad dreams about this movie. So
listen, that's the scary stuff, because those are actually real.
They are, and then some of the other things that inspired what it looked like. I of course Googled those. I'm like, okay, I'm even more. And like Courtney and I, we've always discussed that the sea is like maybe the second thing that wants to kill you outside of space. So this is why we're going to pretty much stay landlocked for all our lives. But just seeing all these other sea creatures that just inspired this alien is just, I love these people with imaginations, because I couldn't have dreamt of something this horrifying yet beautiful at the same time. Yet now I even wonder, because I know that there's rumblings. I know it's nothing confirmed yet, like if they're gonna make a sequel or anything, but is it really dead? Is it really gone? What happened to the leftovers? Because if, with people seeing this happen and they finally have their Oprah shot, will people come out, try to get whatever remnants? And I'm guaranteed that they do, because Pacific Rim, that's the whole point of like people trying to get the leftovers to do studies, more experiments. And now, like, the thing that's actually in the back of my head ever since Victor mentioned it is a shared universe theory. So now I'm sitting here trying to put everything together. And
because we still don't know, we have no idea who was doing that experiment, who was a part of that. And we don't even know if that family from Get Out was a part of that, some part of group, or maybe he was like one of the doctors who went out and did his own thing. There could be some secret group, if you ever watch Alias, or any of those TV shows where it was the shadow groups. Because Jordan Peele loves sci-fi stuff so much, and I would say go back and listen to some of his interviews about the things he likes. And some of the things and some of the movies and shows he's referenced, a lot of sci-fi stuff. I feel like, and again, I might be crazy, and that's okay. I really think there is something he's going to connect all this to it, because you just don't build something so mysterious without trying to. There may be some connection, because even M. Night Shyamalan has done that with a lot of his stuff. Because what was that? Split? Split was kind of the one that was bringing all that universe from
Glass, right? Or Unbreakable.
From Unbreakable, brought all that together, and it made sense. Even though I didn't really like the movie that much, but it made sense what he was doing. This could be what Jordan is doing, like really setting it up to know what this shadow group is about, or is it a shared universe? Because so many different things. Because the way Us left it is that was kind of the beginning of the end. I don't know.
Us was very global when it ended. So, because or at least in a country, I don't know if it actually spanned it around the world, but at least that was the widest scope out of all of the films he's made so far. Get Out was definitely very centralized to at least just that area that, I don't want to say just that house, because it was just that family. And then here we have Nope, which is more of just a region. And I think the thing that would have been the linchpin to really kind of hint is if there was some kind of news article or news like report maybe played in the background saying, like, this is the anniversary of that massacre that happened with, regarding the events of us. So.
Oh, okay. Now, see, I love the idea of a shared universe, but to play devil's advocate, hasn't Daniel Kaluuya, he was in Get Out. Was he in Us as well? Was he in that one at all?
He wasn't.
Okay. But he was in Get Out. So in order for it to be a shared universe, I don't know how they would play off that he basically was two different characters in that universe. But we're dealing with Jordan Peele, and he could also get around that some type of way. So
yeah.
I like the idea of that, though.
So I again, thinking about the alien, thinking about what we were seeing. And I love the fact that when we saw the alien was what we have perceived aliens to be, or to be in a spaceship, or to be in that type of realm. And so to see it come in a final form, it does make me wonder, like, it made me realize it's been around, because apparently that's how we've always thought of aliens in a ship. And so it's been around. That's a whole mystery in itself. But going back, there was, I don't know if y'all remember, there was a news clip in the background in the beginning saying that certain people vanished. They didn't know what happened to them. So I feel
I don't remember that.
Yeah, because I caught it the second time. Again, did not catch it the first time.
It was quick. I remember hearing it. I'm like, I should remember this, and I didn't until you just said it now. Because I'm trying to look for clues just to kind of I feel like the shoe, while it had some significance, but it had nothing to do with like the larger menacing presence of Jean Jacket / Lloyd. So I was thinking that the shoe had more of a connection to what was going to happen. But I kind of just stopped kind of looking for other clues. So I forgot all about that other people were missing. And clearly they had to been for OJ's father to be killed, because they apparently picked up something that had keys and coins and stuff. So this has been killing people prior to, the events that unfolded.
Yeah. This is why I keep thinking that Jupe is not as good as we think he is. I feel like because Jupe was the one who started a lot of that antagonizing. That's why Jupe is...
He already has, I don't know. I'm sorry to interrupt. Keep going. I'm sorry. Well, Jupe definitely is an interesting character, because clearly he is still, I think he's still got a little bit of PTSD going on, but it's like unconfronted. Like, he's not actually confronting it. He's turning it into a profit. Yeah. And it's real sinister, but I don't know. I get the impression that he hasn't dealt with it. He hasn't really, not properly dealt with it, I should say. And I agree. I think there's something with him. There's something going on with him, whether he knows about what's going on, whether he has partnered with the alien, I don't know, but there's something about him that just don't sit right in my spirit.
I would absolutely agree with you, because just by the way he told the story to everybody else, he didn't tell it from his perspective. He told it about the SNL sketch, which I really thought they were going to cut to some. Oh yeah,
that would have been nice.
I would have thought that that's what they were going to do. I'm like, that's going to be amazing if they got Chris Kattan in here. And of course, I'm thinking of when he played like the Mango character. I think his name was Mango. But instead, they just had a flashback again to what really happened, and the fact that they kept splicing it together in that way just kept giving me that very uneasy. I'm telling you, that whole scene was the most tense for me.
Oh my God, that was the scary part of the movie to me.
Yeah, for me it was
the Gordy scenes.
Right,
it was so scary and so weird, and like, why is this here? But it's creepy and just crazy. And I even read somewhere, I was just doing my little deep dive, and I read somewhere that it's even possible that that Jupe seeing the shoe, standing upright, and even his interaction with Gordy the chimp, like doing the fist bump, could have very well been made up in his mind, because he was a child. He was absolutely shocked. He had witnessed some really scary, traumatic shit, and it's very possible that he made that up, or perceived it to be one thing when, like, in his memories, it was, the chimp is viewing me as a friend, or the shoe is standing upright with a single blood drop on it. And so that's been rolling around in my head too, because clearly even in his adult life, he's not okay. He's not okay. He's profiting off of this thing. So it looks like he's okay and he's presenting like he's okay. But as a kid and not fully dealing with something so incredibly traumatic, how can you be okay 100%, you know?
Yeah, it made me think about what you were saying. It also made me think about, like, because he witnessed something like that as a spectacle, it maybe triggered him into consistently
turning it into it.
Yeah, like looking for these type of things or being aware of that a lot more. Because I think about when, I can't remember what I was watching, but it was like, oh, I experienced this, so I know what to, you know, it's like when even like the new Halloween movies, it's like, you know, with Laurie Strode going through what she went through, or even you think about Terminator, Sarah going through what they're going through. They knew what to look for, or they became more obsessed about these things moving forward. But the reason why I'm gonna always stick with the fact that Jupe is sinister is because of that suit. The suit he made, if y'all pay attention to his suit, had a spaceship on the back of it.
Mm-hmm. I noticed that too. Yes, there's a spaceship on the back, and I saw it as soon as he like was in the frame. I'm like, oh, he knows.
Shut up! No,
that suit made, and so that's why. And no shade to white folks right now, but usually when you got a white wife, she knows what's going on. She was bought into the sinister act. Without Jenny and Thomas, they brought into the sinister act. She would be the one who will carry it. If he dies, if she would have survived, she would be like, we're going to still do it because I'm in it. And that's why, and it was funny. I was telling a friend of mine that I was like, she knew, and that's why it's like they sinister, because white women will stick to some sinister shit to the very ass end, and she knew. Because if you looked at her character, she wasn't like, are you okay? Are you like this? She's like, yeah, we can't do this week. We can't do it that week. All right, whatever. Then she went and take care of him. Like, okay, are you ready? Let's do this. Like, she's bought into whatever he has set up. So that's why I was like, something's evil going on, because she's into it way too much versus somebody who's like, I don't know if we should be doing this. This could be dangerous. She was already into it.
That is a good point. That is a great point. Wow.
The kids are bad too, by the way, because
the kids. That's right.
Oh, yeah.
And that's like that.
And let me say, in the theater that I was in, once, you started seeing things moving in the distance, and of course, this is when they were playing, a joke on OJ. I had heard, I don't know from which direction, but just nope. Just someone in the audience. So I'm like, I love it here. So because it was very uneasy, even though it was a fake out, but still, it was weird.
It was weird until you punched the little kid in the face, and it's like, oh, they're fake. Okay, cool.
That's where I was seeing parts of Signs. Remember in Signs, they were like, they just walk by or whatever. And I was like, okay, because when that thing moved up, I was like, okay, it's time to get out. Like,
time to go.
Where's a pitchfork? Where's a stick? Something. But when he punched that kid out, I scored.
Oh, it was hilarious, even though it was a kid, but still, like that is the reaction. Yes, that is the deserved reaction. Just any moments that they just felt real, just like, nope. Like when he was about to get out of the car when Jean Jacket / Lloyd was right above him, and like, nope. And like, again, nope, just not now. Like, yep, I absolutely agree. I will stay here all night. I'm not going anywhere. Because
that made me think about Crujo, because I was like, nope, we're gonna stay up in this car. And again, that's what, if you listen to Jordan, he pulls from a lot of different things. So part of I was getting a little bit of Cujo when he's sitting in that truck. I was like, nope. I try to get out. We're gonna sleep in this car, and I would have done it
forever if we have to.
Even if it was only a few feet from the door, it was like, you don't know.
We're staying here, right
here, because he's not taking the whole thing.
And then speaking of,
go ahead, Sterling.
I was gonna say, speaking of him pulling from things, did you catch the Akira reference too with with Emerald with the bike and the way she just slid across, and I don't know, that warmed the cockles of my heart. So
that was the first thing I thought about, Sterling, when I saw it. I was like, that's Akira. Like I was like, that's a very pivotal part of Akira. That's actually in posters. Like when you even Google Akira, that's one of the first pictures that come up. So I was feeling that part of Akira, and I love the fact that when we go back to the beginning, when Emerald first looked at that whole whale thing, it kind of came back back into play at the end. Just knowing what that was all about. But yeah, I got that reference. I really got that reference. As I said before, I really enjoyed this movie because for what it is, what I like about what Jordan does is when you put it all on the table and just look at it for what it is, it's always a simple story. It's not as complex. It is just a simple story. He can tell a good, terrifying story, which I wish a lot of filmmakers who are making horror will do, is stop trying to overdo it. Just do it in a way that can be complex, but you can still see the basic layer of it. You know, like the classic Friday 13th. Yes, it's scary as hell, but the thing was a mother lost her son. She did not take that well, and it manifested into something else. And that's what we got, you know, and that's what this was. It was like you tried to tame an alien being. It decided that it's going to just do its own thing at the end of the day. And I don't know, you know, I know I've seen a lot of people so confused on it. Some people are really hating it, or I just like the fact that when you just look at it for what it was a good story. It was a good story. Yeah. We rooted for the characters. Emerald gave you the black character that, you know, that we love, but we will actually be like too. Like, you know, if I was survive, I'd probably be saying some shit like, don't f with the carnies, you know.
Right.
Do all that stuff, do all types of dances, electric slide at the moment because I'm alive. I survived it all.
Right. Right.
So yeah, you know, but I love the fact that we got that image of OJ at the end, and some people are wondering like, was she just seeing that because he maybe he is gone, or
well, notice the sign that was over him. It said "over yonder," so it may be alluded to the fact. And maybe alluded to the fact that he was already dead and she just saw like an image of him in her mind.
Yeah.
I want him to live.
She did give us her eyes and put back up again and he was still there. So that's why I was thinking maybe he did survive. But now thinking about that sign, and I remember that now as you say it, maybe that's her memory of her brother. Like that's...
Or like he made it through. He made it to the other side.
Made it to the other side, but also tying into the family piece of them, the horse, what it all meant to them. It's a lot you could take from that. So I don't know, because a lot of us are thinking, is he alive or is he still dead? Is he dead? I don't know, but I like the way they left that part.
Pulled a Christopher Nolan on us. Oh, great.
Right. Right.
So I do got a question for y'all. And it sometimes happens depending on whatever movie I'm watching, but I tend to have this habit of like pairing a movie with another one. So if I was going to do a double feature, what would you pair this movie with? And I guess I'll throw it to Courtney first, because I had already asked her the question, even though I already gave her a suggestion of my answer, but I don't want to say my answer to sully Victor or Nick's choices of what they might think. So
I'm just going to steal what you told me because it was perfect. And I agree 100% though.
Okay. In that case, go ahead. You go ahead and say it. So this answer is for the both of us, but you can go ahead and answer then.
So thanks to Sterling. He reminded me that the movie Arrival is a movie. I didn't forget about it, but to pair it with one movie with another, I think I would pick Arrival because it has the same vibe, it has the same mood. The storytelling is similar because in Nope, you're dealing with kind of two storylines or two messages, and then they kind of like crash together and into one or into the present story, which is the Haywood Farm or Haywood Ranch. Whereas Arrival, you're kind of jumping around in time, and you're not really. It looks linear, but it's not really. And you get that sense of kind of non-linear storytelling in Nope with Jupe and Gordy and the TV scene or TV set and what's happening on the ranch right now. So I really like that style of just kind of jumping around and tying the two together, whether it's like really explicitly tied together or more subtle. And I just feel like the vibe, especially with the alien reveal, that is very similar in both movies, where you just kind of have to go with it until the climax towards the end, or at least end of Act 2, where the alien starts to show itself a little bit more and you kind of understand it a bit more. And it's also very unconventional. You're very unconventional alien reveal, alien behavior, how they find out what the alien is or where it is. And, I just like that slow burn. And both movies, to me, tend to do that. Even though Nope is way more action-packed, I feel like the storytelling styles are very similar to one another. And I paired both. I think I maybe would, I don't know if I would see Nope first. They're so different. They're not one and the same. But
yeah, Nope would be the second for me. Like I would watch Arrival, then Nope. Just because of
Nope is more of the thrillers to me. So I'd wake it back up, I guess. Because Arrival is slower. It's just a lot slower.
It is.
So I wouldn't want to end with that. But I thank you for the suggestion, Sterling, because that's my answer.
And for me, it's mostly just the theme of understanding. And it's Amy Adams understanding these alien creatures. And then it's Daniel understanding this Lloyd creature. So they have different results, but and it's just, again, more just spectacle. So Victor or Nick, any thoughts what movie you might pair it with?
Yeah, I have two. I would do it with Close Encounters of the Third Kind, just because of that, how that kind of played out. God, that was so long ago, but just how you can start cute with that and then end with Nope, or you can start with Nope and then end cute with that if you need that, hopeful thing. I also would pair it with Tremors because where it was set and how in some ways they were trying to figure out what this was, and then they became obsessed with trying to catch it, trying to stop it. And so I would do that. I would either one of those two movies. I would take it down to the New Bev because they always do those type of like combinations over here. I would do that. Let's do that. But those are the two movies I would compare them with, or I would show them with.
I've been trying to think, and I can't really think of anything. I was thinking like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, but that really didn't make sense.
I thought of that too.
Like the original, not the 80s one, because the original is the only one that matters to me.
I haven't seen the original yet. I've only seen the 70s one. There's three of them actually. So yeah,
there's three of them, and the original one is the best one.
Well, Nick is a purist anyway, so
yeah, Nick is a purist.
Sometimes, but I don't know what I would pair this with. This is just like.
Well, as you still debate or kind of ruminate on it, it's interesting that you both thought of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. So what was it about?
Why not that one? Why not that movie?
Because the original point of Invasion of the Body Snatchers was a sort of McCarthyism vibe. Like you don't know who's supporting communists. So I don't know how the thing is supposed to be something that is, when I'm saying that, I guess it could, because initially it was supposed to be a cloud and it wasn't. But it would only tick that box. It wouldn't tick like the other boxes of the movie. I guess maybe it could be another movie would be Predator, if we want to be literal.
Okay.
But I would go back. I would go back and say maybe you could pair it, because I've only saw the second one. But the way the alien brought itself to us was in a form that we wouldn't even have caught. It was a flower. It was done as a flower. And the second version was done as a flower. And that's when they started to take over and be territorial, because it would start taking over and claiming things and claiming how they would do it, to where people in the second one, they had that factory where they were shipping it and doing all that stuff. I could see it, because in some ways it was like, I'm coming here and I'm going to take over. In some ways, maybe that's what the alien was like. I'm here. I've been here. Now I'm going to just start, expanding what I'm doing, where I'm eating. So yeah, I can see that. I can see where you can put them both there, because it was all about the secret of because we wouldn't have thought twice. It's a cloud. It's a pretty flower. Clouds are pretty. You wouldn't see it until it's too late. And that was kind of the theme of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. You wouldn't even know it until it was too late. It got you when it was sleeping. It got you when you was least paying attention. The same way as the alien, Jean Jacket Lloyd got you when you really suspected that.
Right.
That was a good question.
It's just how my brain works. And when I'm watching movies, like, okay, what else would I watch with this? Other things that I did, or Courtney and I rather talked about, just questions that I don't necessarily need answered, but I wouldn't mind if we had some kind of either extended cut. I don't necessarily need a sequel. I'm not sure if this movie needs a sequel or if I want one, or even a prequel for that matter. But like, where did Lloyd come from? And is there more of Lloyd? And I know I asked her earlier, but is Lloyd really gone? So just other things, because it's such a mysterious thing.
Yeah. I want to know if it's the only one. I mean, it seemed to hunt and to behave as if it's the only one, but you, Sterling, mentioned the sea monster. What's it called?
Oh, the Portuguese man of war?
Yeah. So if it is made up of multiple organisms that become legion and form one like monster, one killing machine, what's to say that that Lloyd / Jean Jacket / Alien was not also an amalgamation of multiple beings coming together? It didn't seem like it, but I mean, why not?
Right. Or what if it's man-made? Because what if it's a man-made thing? You think of the Blob.
Yeah,
the Blob wasn't man-made. I mean, it wasn't man-made. It came from space.
But okay, I'm going by the second version of the Blob. Sorry, it's on. I think it's on Tubi. I need to look at the original Blob. It's on Tubi. But in the second Blob, it was man-made. And so, what if it's a man-made thing that you're trying to, they're always trying to figure out how we're going to win the war.
Well, we didn't get like a real when he and I know we're kind of running towards the end, but that scene where he went after ghosts and those people were in the those cars and turning off and on their lights, we didn't even get any kind of explanation of who they were, what they were doing, did we? Or did I just like tune that out?
I can't remember right now that particular part.
Because I thought they were from military. I thought they were some kind of
unless this was about, the people that went missing that was in that news report. So unless that's what that is.
Yeah.
I'm actually ready to go get a second or get a ticket to go see it again now. So there's been so much that's been like revealed or talked about. I'm like, ooh, I need to go back and watch that again because.
I think that they were waiting because, when anything happens, there are always news places just hovering around. And then when the big juke was just all of a sudden flying up in the sky, they probably be like, wait, what's going on over there? Let's go see what's going on over there. Maybe that's what they was like, okay, we need to go see what happened. Just because all of a sudden now we're seeing, or maybe they saw how, because that creature was acting up. It was just showing itself.
It was showing out, yeah.
So maybe they saw the final form, or maybe they just saw that big juke balloon go up and they were like, wait a minute. We seen all this wind rustling. All of a sudden, here comes this thing. Let's go check it out. Because any type of TMZ-like space, they're going to be hovering around. They just wait. Yeah.
But this was at the beginning of the movie, not towards the end. Remember that he was down in that valley and those two Jeeps were there and they were turning off and on their lights.
Oh, I thought that was Jupe's.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the very beginning, because that's when OJ was out in the dark and then he saw the lights going out and it went all the way down the valley. And I thought at the end of the valley was Jupe's big, attraction. I thought that's where the lights are coming from. Now
that's what I thought too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was, because that's where the sound was coming from too. That's where you would hear him talk about, because you heard him say about something about a spectacle or something. And that's where I picked up. I was like, oh, so you've been doing this for a minute because you're talking about this again. So I see what you were saying on there. I can see where I was thinking they've been out there just waiting for something. But,
but yeah, there's definitely some clues I'm pretty sure I missed, even though as we talk about, we're just there just to watch the movie, just to kind of take it in. But after you watch it once and you got to go back like, okay, I'm sure there's other little things in here, little Easter eggs, little things to chomp on. Cause I mean, Victor's over there being a conspiracy theorist. It's man-made. I'm thinking it's a creature that came from somewhere. And I was expecting Mama Lloyd to come out somewhere and as a storm cloud. I was hoping that wasn't going to happen. Exactly.
It could be one of the
it could be
what was it? Whether they call them the great gods or the great titans. It could be.
Mothra,
Godzilla.
Mothra, yeah.
You never know. They'll give the studio any opportunity because they'll be like, let's add it into one of those and all that. I'm still mad at King Kong and Godzilla because that movie.
It was gloriously terrible.
It was fun. It was just
fun.
It was fun. It was terrible though. It was a fun watch. Very entertaining.
We had a hole in the middle of the earth. We would not be here. I'm like, how did that even?
Exactly. Like we would not know life right now.
Just turn your brain off. Just turn your brain off and just
it was
watch.
Fun, yeah.
Yeah. Don't think about it. Don't think about it.
Just enjoy it.
Right.
Mhm.
So, would you all recommend this to somebody?
Yeah,
certain people. Yeah, certain
I
people.
would.
Jesus.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I want to say certain people too. I
Yeah.
talked to a girlfriend of mine, and she's like, "Hey, did you?" She had texted me while I was in the movie, and I was like, "I'm in the movie. I'll call you later." She's like, "Are you seeing Nope?" So later on, I was like, "Yeah." And she asked me what I thought about it, and at that time, I was still in my confused and dazed stage, and so I was like, "You know, it's good. You know, it's a little confusing." And she's like, "Oh no, I don't think I want to see it." And I'm like, just go in with an open mind. And so I wouldn't recommend it to those who don't like to
Think.
I don't want to say that. So, like, if you don't enjoy analyzing movies after the fact or during the fact, or, you know, if you just want like a surface level entertainment, which is fine, then maybe this movie is not for you, because it doesn't just necessarily spell it out. And some people find that really frustrating. I mean, I was a little bit frustrated at the end, even though I am that type of person where I love the subtext and I love the hidden meanings and I love the clues. I love all that stuff. It wasn't connecting for me at first. And so I was like, oh my God, what did I just see? It's gotta be me. I gotta be missing something. But I was a little frustrated. So certain people I would recommend, others I would say, nah, just wait till you can rent it for a little cheaper, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I talked to my mom about it last night, and I felt like that's a movie that she could handle and might enjoy. And at the same time, when I got home, my wife asked me how it was, and I'm like, you would probably say it was stupid. And I know exactly probably where you would say it was stupid, and that was when Lloyd unfurled all his pretty wings and everything.
It's pretty.
Yes. And I mean, and because she had already heard people saying like, oh, it was a bad movie. And yet the critics are saying it was like one of the best movies. And I'm like, well, I don't know why you're listening to them, because you usually form your own opinions anyway. But since I know you, how I know you, you're probably going to be like, that was stupid, but you still might enjoy it. I don't know. I'll have to get back to you on whether or not she actually liked it or not. But right now I'm thinking she's going to be like, oh, no, I didn't care for that one. Because I would recommend it to certain people.
I would recommend it, but I would recommend people watch it twice. Because I think, again, a lot of people watch it to find the clues. But I think if you watch it a second time, it will just kind of fall into place to where you're like feeling it and catching it more. And I'm speaking from my perspective, but I think it was easier for me to take it in a second time. Because when I first saw it, we were all at Comic-Con. So you all had the Comic-Con hype folks all there. And also you were in the midst of all the hypeness. So therefore, it was like you were just not really, you were present, but not present. But
you're caught up.
Yeah, but to see it again, it came together a lot better.
I definitely want to see it again. So
I'm jealous because you saw it at Comic-Con and you were at Comic-Con.
Yeah,
Well,
that was fun. But yeah, to see it with a Comic-Con crowd is a whole different experience.
I bet.
Well, that does conclude our review of Nope. If you guys wouldn't mind, tell everybody where they can find you on the internet, on your social media handles and all that jazz. And Courtney, I'll start with you.
Y'all can find me on Twitter. That's really the only place you can find me online. But you can find me on Twitter at IamKHinton, where I tweet very rarely these days. But when I do tweet, it's about plants and movies and TV shows and random stuff. So find me there. I am Kay Hinton.
And you can find me at indoob, INDOOB, also indoob.com, and the podcast. So you can hear both of us talking about all those random things, including plants and TV, and just whatever else that happens to come up. And definitely we'll have Victor and Nick back on, as they've been on before. But I have since introduced a new segment, which I feel could be a lot of fun having them play. And we only play this game when we have a guest, at least one guest. And that is Florida or Florida Don't. I'm not going to get into details about it, but it's just a lot of fun to play. Oh no, you guys will enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. So, but yeah, do check out the podcast. It comes out every other week, and that is Indoob. Just search that in your podcast player of choice, and as well as the Patreon, because we'll post things there, like even probably parts of this conversation you'll hear there, either on the main feed or the Patreon feed. So yeah, look out for that.
And you can find us all over the internet at Megasheen. You can rate, subscribe to the podcast all over wherever you get your podcasts. I'm at What Porter Say. Victor's at Wonderman5. If you want to contact us, questions, comments, concerns, megasheen6@gmail.com. Anything else before we get up out of here, Victor?
I do want to say rest in power to Michelle Nichols. She just passed today. Yeah, if you don't know who that is, she was one of the first Black women in a consistent TV series. And then I think Julia came after that, I believe. But she played...
Check Truck Turner.
Yeah. She played... I knew Nick was going to know. But she played Lieutenant Uhura on Star Trek. And that role has been very iconic for a lot of people, especially Black people, especially Black women. And Michelle was very pivotal at making sure that people of color was able to get into the NASA program. Did videos, did all types of things, did recruitment for NASA to get Black women, get Black people, get people of color into NASA. So Michelle has done a lot, and everybody knows the story about Martin Luther King talking to Michelle about not leaving Star Trek because she was going to leave, and told her what her impact was to the show and everything. And so rest in peace to Michelle Nichols.
Very much that. And with that being said, everybody go see Nope, form your own conclusions, and support Black sci-fi.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yes. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Indoob podcast, which was recorded from the south side of Wakanda in Little New Indubia on the corner of T'Chaka and MLK Drive, and is part of the Indoob network. Want more Indoob? Follow on Instagram and Twitter @Indoob and on Facebook @IndoobPod. You can contact us and send Ask Indoob questions by emailing indoobpod@gmail.com. Want to support or donate? Find the T Public Store or become a patron on Patreon, where subscribing gives you perks and extra things from the Indoob network. Please subscribe, rate, comment, and share the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, YouTube, Podbean, and wherever else podcasts are found. And of course, visit indoob.com for all of this and much more. Thank you so much for letting us entertain, enlighten, and provide an auditory escape with knowledge and nonsense. Until next time.
Use your words, Chief. Good boy.
This has been another 3SFX production.